Right, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the DAO1 Daily Call. My name is Bruce Hughes. If you're watching this as a recording, the date today is the 24th of February, 2026, and the information I'm sharing is valid at this date. So if you're watching this and it's March or April or May, please ask for the latest updates because markets may have changed, products and services may have changed. There may have been some updates to the platform and services that we're looking at today. Now, having said that, I want to dive straight into the two things that we're going to cover on this call. Thing one is, what is the problem that most people face and what is a solution that we can provide people to help overcome that problem? We're going to have a look at that. Data-driven, fact-driven, numbers-driven. And then part two is, what is the business model that we can take out into the market, whether it's through social media, through courses, through workshops, etc., that can help leverage the growth and awareness of the solution that we present on this call. So if you've got 12 to 15 minutes to lean in and look at the data and the facts and the numbers, take time to do that now. Take notes. If you're watching this as a replay, pause. Check the data for yourself. I really want to help equip you with information that is actionable. So having said that, let's dive straight into probably the biggest problem that everybody globally is facing, and that is the effect of inflation and tax on everyday households. Now, we don't necessarily feel this immediately as an inflation or a tax burden. We normally feel this through things rising in price, through the increase in taxes, the increase in groceries, school fees, gas, petrol, home ownership, etc. Interesting data to look at. And again, please go do the research for yourself. But if you take the tax burden increases globally and the tax inflation increases globally over the past 5 years, you will start seeing that whether you're based in the USA, the UK, Australia, Europe, South Africa, that this burden that we're carrying ranges anywhere between 25% as high as the mid 30%. Now, what does that mean? Well, in simple terms, what it means is that the $100, the £100, the €100 that you had before is now worth £75, €75, 75 rands. In some cases, it's worth only 70 rand, 75. In some cases, in some territories, it's worth 65. There's a large tax and inflation burden. And so the $100, 100 rands, £100 we used to earn doesn't go as far as it used to go. Now, how do we feel this? Well, we feel it in two ways. One, we feel it in the fact that we are now searching after maybe an income increase or a salary increase or a wage increase. So you'll find yourself having those conversations with your employees. Maybe you're searching for another job. You're looking for a raise. You're looking for a promotion to try and make up that shortfall. In some cases, potentially, you're even running two businesses or running two jobs or running your full-time job and then doing some other side hustle as well. This is how we react to the shortfall, the sudden removal of our buying power over the past 5 years. And if you go look at the data, you can see that the Google search increase on online income or second income or digital income has increased because people are looking for solutions. Now, if those solutions are for a second job or longer hours or overtime or a second income, then that affects our time. So we're all currently trying to recover from this double punch of tax inflation, and the numbers that we're working against are normally 25, 30, 35% against us. Now, here's the good news. If you can find any product, platform, or service that makes up that difference, then you're breaking even again. Then your $100, your £100, your €100 suddenly has the same buying power it did 5 years ago. If you can find anything that does better than 20, 25, 30%, you're now beating inflation. You're beating that tax burden that you're suddenly carrying. If you want to break that down further, break it down per month. If you're trying to make up a 20% deficit, 20 divided by 12, what do you need to be aiming at per month as an increase in value? If it's 30%, what do you need to be aiming at per month? 30 divided by 12. And so anytime we can find a product or a service or a platform that can get our money to work for us at that 2 to 3% per month magic number, we're ahead of the game. Type yes if this is making sense in the chat. If you're watching this as a replay, do the math for yourself. But anytime we can find a vehicle that hits that 2 to 3% monthly range where our money is suddenly working for us, we're now in competition. We're directly competing again for that gap. And in some cases, we're even bettering the gap. Now, banks aren't offering that. Let's be brutal with each other. Most banks offer 1 to 5%. If we go look at property, it's getting pretty close to that. In some jurisdictions, like here in Dubai, 15 to 20% based on ROI, etc. That's pretty good. That's really hunting down that gap. If you go and work with PAM Forex brokers, so guys who manage accounts and manage trades and manage markets, they can offer up to 1.5% per month as well. So there's some pretty good options out there. The option we're going to look at today is AI trading, specifically in the cryptocurrency market. Now, you might be asking why crypto, or I don't understand crypto, because cryptocurrency doesn't sleep. It operates 24/7. And it's the fastest growing market, which means a lot of data, a lot of technology, and certainly a lot of AI is going into executing value in and out of that market. We're seeing MicroStrategy, Fidelity, BlackRock, these big institutions who are moving, they're transferring wealth into those markets, and we can participate in that. So today, I'm going to show you a solution that you can plug into that can get that 1 to 2 to 3%, that magic number we're looking for every single month. And this solution can be found on a platform called DAO1. DAO1, very simply put, is a platform that uses the best of blockchain and the best of AI to look at the crypto markets and execute activity on those markets for our benefit. Now, the product we're looking at specifically in DAO1 is a trading product. Let me explain how this works. We can purchase what we call a trading bot. This is like purchasing the actual code, the AI code that goes onto the market and starts making trades, starts looking for movement, volatility. What does that mean? That means we don't really care if prices are up and down. We don't really care if the markets are volatile. We're not worried about headlines. We're not worried about politics. The AI is simply looking at that movement, that volatility, and looking for moments to buy and sell, buy and sell. So none of us have to become a trader. None of us have to sit at our screens all day. None of us have to become experts in cryptocurrency, blockchain, or anything else. Now, there are different price points. You can buy a small $200 bot. You can load $200 worth of trade capital, and it can trade for you. You can go in at $1,000 and load $1,000 of trade capital. You can even purchase a $70,000 bot loaded with $70,000 and have it trading that capital. What I want to do is I want to show you the 4 bots that I have. So I have a $1,000 bot, 20,000, a 30,000, and a 70,000 bot. And what you're going to see is that in the past 3 months, these bots have been doing that magic number, 1, 2, 3% or more. So what does that mean for me? That means instead of me putting or parking capital or crypto or money into banks or into real estate or into PAM account managers, I'm parking it here instead, because this is engaging in that crypto market, that growing market. So I'm going to look at the $1,000 bot. Let's go across to it together. This started trading on the 23rd of November, 2025, and it's done 18.3% in 3 months. Okay, that is, 6% a month at the moment. And I can choose what to do with that. I can claim that directly as a profit in either a currency called Apertum or in a currency called USDT, USD Tether, or I can compound that. I'm totally in control of what I do with the profits from this trading bot. All trades can be looked at, so you can see the full history inside of the trade function. You can see the trades that have opened, the trades that have closed, and there's a full 61 pages of history here from the last 3 months. You can also look at the history of the action I've taken, whether I've compounded, so taken the profits I've earned, put it back in, or if I've withdrawn. So I've only ever withdrawn once. I withdrew 30 USDT here on the 21st of January. The rest of the time I've compounded. Now, you might be looking at a place to park larger amounts of wealth. And so I'm going to show you a $70,000 bot. And we're going to have a look at what that has done over the same 3-month period. So let's pop into the DAO1 dashboard. Let's head down to the $70,000 bot. This was purchased, loaded at the same time. So it's been running for 3 months. Also done 18.35%. So it is averaging 6% a month. And again, please understand, this is an average. You know, some months it might only do 1% or 2%, or maybe even -%. And some months it might do much higher percent. The markets are volatile. And this bot just looks at that activity and looks at the best times to buy or sell. That's all trading is. And the reason why most people fail at trading is because they look at those opportunities through an emotional lens, through fear or uncertainty, or they look at it through a headline made by a politician, or they look at it through advice given to them by a neighbor. We want to remove human error and human bias and just use data. And this is probably one of the best uses of AI and blockchain that we have currently, because it's decluttering the human element that can make mistakes. Now, this was loaded with $70,000. It's already done $12,564 in profit. And you can actually see that my business partner and I, at first, for the first 2.5 months, we just compounded all the profits. Compound, compound, compound. You can see 350, 301, 602. Last week, we did a withdrawal of 1,232. And we will start alternating now between withdrawing and compounding, withdrawing and compounding. We'll start putting some of the profits back into our own pockets and also compounding the trades, simply because compounding is the 8th wonder of the world. Why is this a solution? Because the data has shown us that if we can do better than 20 to 25 to 30% annually, if we can get that back into our pockets, then we've retained our buying power. If we can do better than that, we're increasing our buying power. So at a 6% average, we're doing better than that. We're increasing our buying power. Even if it drops to 3%, we're happy with that. That is retaining buying power. And we're not getting that solution somewhere else. That is the product. So there's no trading experience needed. It runs on automatic, and we're fully in control of claiming the profits or compounding the profits. That's the solution. Now, imagine if you could take that to friends, family, work colleagues. Imagine if you could share that solution with the stay-at-home mum or the single dad or the family, the mum and dad and kids, where the parents are working 2 or 2.5, 3 jobs. Imagine if you could say, here's a way to protect your money and put it into markets that are growing using technology that is available to the everyday person. This is exciting. If you got value just out of this section and you want more information on the product, please message the person who shared this recording with you and say, let me see what your trade bot is doing. Let me see how I can get set up. That is step 1. Step 2 is the fact that DAO1 has a referral program. For those of you who don't know, referral programs have grown double digits every year since COVID. In other words, most companies are adding referral programs onto their products and services in order to create commissioned communities that can earn from growing the database, can earn from growing market share, can earn from growing the user base. And so what I want to show you now is how you can take the same product that can change your own finances and how you can create an income from referring that product to others. So I'm going to share my screen with you. We're going to do it slightly differently in that I am going to share my iPad with you because we're going to throw some data and some ideas together that might be of real interest to you. So give me a second here while I come into the Zoom room on my iPad. See, it's connecting now. There you go. And we're going to head across into Freeform. Right. Let me know if you can see the free form section. We're going to look at 3 types of commissions that are built into the DAO1 platform, the referral program. The first commission is a direct commission. This commission is 20% paid on any sales of the smart bot that you've seen today. So I want you to picture for a moment, because we see this playing out on social media all the time. Imagine this is you. This is you with your social media accounts. This is you in your circle of influence, your circle of friends. And you are able to help 5 other people take advantage of what you saw today. So there are 5 people that you know that are looking at ways to fight against that inflation and tax hike. They're looking at a way to get the extra 2% or the extra 3% a month. Well, if you spoke to 5 people, so you had 5 people in your circle of influence, and those 5 people each bought even just the $1,000 smart bot. In other words, they were testing the water and they wanted to see, hey, can this work for me? What would my monthly averages be? Could this be a solution? That would equate to $5,000 in sale of the actual product. And because you're earning 20% commission on that, you'd be earning $1,000. Now, I want you to imagine for a moment that every month you helped 5 people. That's an extra $1,000 in your back pockets, paid directly to you instantly, that you can now choose to maybe even put back into smart bots to increase your own portfolio, or put into the expenses that you have in the home. This is what most YouTubers, most TikTokers, most Instagrammers are doing. They are taking advantage of the fact that there are problems out there that can be solved with products, and they earn a commission for helping people plug into those products. Let's have a look at the second commission that is also paid. So DAO1 has a growing community of users. This means that they are looking to equip people who will grow their own community wider than just their own circle of influence. So if you help train other people to also sell these products, you can earn micro commissions on those sales. You can earn 7%, here's 7%. You can earn 7% on the next circle of influence. You can earn 3% on the next circle of influence. What do I mean by that? Well, just like we see on social media, people talk about a good thing. They share when something is working for them. So imagine if you're 5 people, you helped equip them to also plug into the referral program. And they started talking to 5 of their friends, 5 people looking for a solution. Well, 5 times 5, in other words, your circle of influence is now expanded outwards, means you've now got 25 people who are looking at a solution. If 25 people were to spend $1,000 each, that would be $25,000 spent. Now, based on the uni-level plan, this expanding plan, you would earn 7% of those sales. Those 5 people that you help would earn 20% of their own sales. You would earn 7%. And 7% of 25,000, I've written 2,500. Let's put a 0 there. 7% of 25,000. Let's quickly do the math together, because this is where the income vehicle, the business model as a referral model, starts becoming really interesting. That's $1,750 worth of commission, just because your circle of influence has expanded. And there's nothing stopping you from every month increasing your own circle by another 5, which means you're earning your $1,000, and at the same time, that circle wider than that growing. Let's extrapolate this data further. What if those 5 people, what if a ripple effect really started taking place? Those 5 people each have 5 people that they spoke to. So that's 25 times 5, which means we're now sitting at 125 people. 125 people saying, hey, I need a solution where I can put my money to work for me, where I can beat that 2-3% a month that I have to try aim at. That means that you got $125,000 worth of product being sold based on the uni-level commission. At tier 3 or circle 3, you're earning 3%. You're earning a micro commission on those sales. 3% on 125,000. Let's quickly do the math. Times 3%, that's 3,750. Now, remember, if you're still doing your 5 people a month, that's 1,000 plus 1,750. That's 2,750. So it's 1,000 plus. And if your circle of influence continues to grow, that's another 3,750. That's over $5,000, $6,000. This is how YouTubers, this is how TikTokers, this is how LinkedIn, this is how Instagram people who share something good start scaling their businesses. Now, I'm going to go one more and then I'm going to stop. Imagine if the same thing took place. The ripple effect continued and people are sharing a good thing, something that is working for them. Well, now you have an organization of 625 people. And again, we're just staying at the $1,000 price point. So imagine if people are actually, like I did, put in 70,000. But let's keep it at the 1,000. That's $625,000 worth of sales made at 3% of 625,000. And this is the last example I'm doing on this. That is $18,750. Imagine this first circle being month 1. Remember back here when you first started, it was just you and 5 people. And you spent 1 month helping 5 people. And then you did the same thing that same month. And you equipped those. And a month later, those 5 are helping someone else. And a month later, imagine if in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, you've set up a system, an organization that is getting onto calls like this, looking at the product as a solution, purchasing it and using it for themselves, and then referring this as a business plan onwards. Now, the last commission we're going to look at is what we call rank pool. This is just a bonus that is paid out twice a month. And so when we look at a full organization like this, where you are doing $5,000 in sales, plus $25,000 in sales, plus $125,000 in sales, plus $625,000 in sales, you're now looking at a business that is doing $800,000 in sales. That's like owning a McDonald's and selling $800,000 worth of McDonald's every single month. This is now a volume-based referral system. And based on volume, you can then earn further bonuses. This whole thing is just measuring volume. Look in the last column here. Yeah, so we are looking at volume that is more than that. Okay, which means that you are now participating at what is called a leader rank. You're earning 7.5% shared amongst anybody else who's also hit that rank from 10% of total sales within the environment. If the company has sold $10 million worth of product for the month, 10% of 10 million is $1 million that is coming into this pool and is being distributed amongst all the people who are hitting these volume ranks. This is what a referral-based business that has a ripple effect, circles of influence, can help people earn by sharing a solution. You know, often when we think about businesses, we don't necessarily think about what the problem is that they're solving. We just think, oh, I bought a new car. Okay, well, car companies sell cars because it solves the transport problem. When you go on holiday and you book into Airbnb or Booking.com, it's because you have an accommodation problem that is solved by Booking.com or Airbnb. Right now, every person on the planet is facing a tax and inflation hike problem. They're feeling it in their pockets and they're feeling it in their time because they're having to go out there and solve this deficit. Right now, we've got a product that can solve it month to month. It can break down that big deficit into small chunks, 2%, 3% a month. And what that equates to is, 20% for the year or 30% for the year, or in our case, 18% over 3 months. That solves the real problem for people. And then you've got this referral program where you can earn income by helping these products get sold into the market. That solves the time problem. Imagine if you could invite people onto a call like this, someone could present to them, someone could help them buy a product, and you're earning micro commissions for that activity. This is a business model. And this is a very real solution for most people. So if you're watching this recording, I want to encourage you, get back to the person who's sharing this with you. Ask them, hey, how do I get hold of the product? Share a bit more about the referral plan. If you're watching this live, I want you to note that we do have a training tomorrow that is specifically on how to systemize the referral program. So again, use systems, use structure to do most of the heavy lifting, most of the business building. The product itself, it already does the heavy lifting. It already runs on automatic. It already is a solution. It doesn't need you and I to interrupt it. The referral program, that takes entrepreneurs using a system to take a product to the market. And we're going to do a training on that system tomorrow. So I hope you got value out of this. Thank you so much for your time. Have a fantastic Tuesday wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, for a training on the Learn Pro marketing system.